Hi guys, so I've been having kind of a reading crisis this week and I don't know what I'm doing with myself. But anyway, I thought I would do the try a chapter book tag. I don't know what's up with my throat, it's all froggy today. I went to the library, I checked out a whole bunch of books. A lot of them are ones that I have heard about. People have talked about how they like them. My cat is mad again because I'm in her chair. So if you hear meowing or see little tails, that's why. I can't decide what I want to read. I really just I'm craving that reading experience where you sit down and you just find this book that you totally fall into and you're super absorbed by, and 7 hours go by and you're like, oops, I read the whole book. Or you do actually put it down but you can't stop thinking about it. But I don't want an intense read either. I just want something that's really enjoyable. And I'm having a hard time finding that right now. And pursuant to my summer reading rules, if I'm not digging a book, I'm allowed to put it down. And so I've put down quite a few books, or half-heartedly been reading this week. But anyway, I just need something to read that I enjoy. And now, with that very long intro, I thought I would do the try a chapter tag with 5 of the books that I brought back from the library and see if maybe that helps me. I have this problem sometimes where I just I have all of these books all of a sudden and I want to read all of them at the same time, and I just can't do that. It's a bad habit. We need to kill the habit. So try a chapter tag will, I think, help me kind of dip my toe into each one of these books, see what it's about, check out the writing style, because I really don't know a lot about several of them except that they have been enjoyed by a lot of people whose reading tastes that I trust. And so, trying a chapter. So here's how the rules go. I have 5 books. I'm going to read the first chapter of each book, and then I'm going to come back and update you about my thoughts. And then at the end of the vlog, I'll pick one book that I want to keep going with. Just one book. And hopefully something will hook me. There's a cardinal sitting on top of a tree outside. It's very beautiful. Anyway, hopefully one of these will hook me and give me that reading experience that I have been craving. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to reading Jane Eyre and being annoyed by Mr. Rochester and St. John Rivers. Jane is such a great character, but the men in that book are just not my favorites. So here's the books that I'm going to be going through. So I got Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire. This one's really short. That's the sequel. It's the 3rd book in a series, but I've read books 1 and 2. The next one is Space Opera by Catherine M. Valente. This is a space opera. This is the book that was on hold for me, and that is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. When I finished Caraval last, I don't know, February or March or something, I put this on hold. It's here finally. My initial oh my gosh, I have to read the next book has kind of died, but maybe it'll reawaken when I read the first chapter. I don't know. This is Falling Kingdoms, which is the first book in the Falling Kingdoms series. There's 5 books in this series. Oh, and then the last one, I was I know there were only 4. The last one is Waking Gods by Sylvie Neuville. And if you've been watching my channel for a hot minute, you know that I read Sleeping Giants. Lost the title there for a minute. It's right there. Which is the first book in this trilogy. This is the 2nd book. I was excited to see the library had it. I actually went into the library with a couple of books that I wanted to try to check out, and they didn't have any of them except for this one. So I was happy to see it. Let's start with Space Opera. I'm really, whoa, light flare. Sorry about that. I'm really excited to read this. This sounds like it could be a kind of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy vibe. I pinched my hand and I keep bumping on things. So I'm either gonna really like this book or it's gonna be boring. I don't know. I hope I really like it. I will come back and tell you guys what I think briefly when I am finished with the first chapter. The first chapter, by the way, is 9 pages. Okay, so I read the first chapter of Space Opera, and I like it so far. It definitely has a very distinctive style. the sentences are like really long, but they do a good job of not feeling like plodding and clunky, but kind of like the effect is that like it sweeps you through. So I think it'll be a pretty fast read, which is nice. It could potentially get annoying, but it's a pretty short book, so hopefully not. As far as what I've learned in the first chapter, the answer is not much. It's kind of setting up like a scenario about galactic war and how all the wars have been over, like they were called the sentience wars. Like, are those beings that look like not me also sentient, and do I have to treat them like sentient beings, or can I treat them as what she calls meat and, you know, enslave them and whatever? And the kind of like setup to the story is that in order to avoid wars, there's a like musical competition, like an intergalactic musical competition that you're invited to join, and if you win, I think you yeah, so if you want to be counted as sentient, you have to take part in the competition, and if you lose the competition, then that's not very good for your planet. So I got a good feel for the style, at least, if not the like deeper plot. It's very like distant third-person omniscient so far. I don't even know if we're gonna like, I don't know who the main characters are. The only human I've been introduced to is a physicist. Let me read you the first sentence because I think it's pretty fabulous, and then I'll move on. Once upon a time, on a small, watery, excitable planet called Earth, in a small, watery, excitable country called Italy, a soft-spoken, rather nice-looking gentleman by the name of Enrico Fermi was born into a family so overprotective that he felt compelled to invent the atomic bomb. Which is a sentence that gets places, to be honest, and it's a great opening sentence. But Enrico Fermi is the only, like, human that I've been introduced to so far, or, like, individual character, and I don't think he's actually a character in the book. So, maybe I would like to read that one. Continuing, I'm gonna look at Beneath the Sugar Sky. Sorry about the lens flare problem. So the first chapter, shoot, I have to do math. Okay, well there's like a prologue that's like that long, so I'm gonna read past that. It's 14 pages, but there's an illustration. So I will be back after I have finished this. Okay, I'll finish this one, and this is really interesting and compelling. I hate that these are so short. I'm glad that there's gonna be like a bajillion of them because I really like them. They're just like nice little fairy tales, and because they're short, they're really concise, but the worlds are really well developed and the characters are really well developed for like basically a novella. This one seems no different. We're back at Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, which is a home for kids who have gone to magical worlds and come back, and it's supposed to help them adjust or to be a safe place for them to wait until they can return. Some of them return, some of them don't. It kind of depends on the child and the world and the experiences and stuff. And the premise is just so interesting. It's very well done. So we're back. There's some familiar characters, there's some new ones, and I still don't really know anything about the plot except that at the very end of this chapter a girl falls out of the sky and lands in a pond, so that's new and compelling, and I'm curious. So again, another like strong contender. The problem is I think all of these are going to be strong contenders. The decision at the end is going to be like drama. What next? This one's kind of in the way. Wow, looking down, man, it's just like Waking Gods, Sylvain Neuvel. And let's see. The problem with these is that it's told in like journal entries and interviews. And so the first two chapters are really short. I think I'll read this much. It's about 15 pages. Prologue, news report, and a journal entry, basically. Okay, I read as far as I said I would in the book. It's about 15 pages. And I'm definitely really interested. I don't know if I want to read this like tonight, but maybe I'll pick it up like next, after the next book. So I don't know how much to say since this is the second book in a series, but it's about the same characters and new characters, and it picks up about 10 years after the last book left off. So I wasn't expecting that like time jump. Sleeping Giants, a team of scientists and other people find the pieces of this giant robot that is presumed to be from an alien race, and the pieces of it have been scattered all over Earth, and they put it together and kind of like try to figure out how it works and stuff. I am vastly oversimplifying, but that's the context you need for this, because in 10 years later, another one shows up in London, just like appears, and nobody's really sure where it came from. So that is obviously going to be part of the conflict. I have a feeling that like this is science fiction, and the first book took place completely on Earth, and except for the robot, there was nothing alien or extra world at all, and I have a feeling that Earth is going to be drawn into some things. I don't know. This is very interesting. I've been looking forward to reading this, and I think I'll definitely pick it up in the next day or two. By the way, props to my library. These books, the hardcovers have like a cutout on the dust jacket, and then the inside, can I make it work, has like a thing on it, and they actually went to the trouble to cut out the backing to the library cover protector thing so you can see the little cutout. Thank you, library people, for doing the nice thing to the book, because it's a pretty cover. Next, I'm going to read the first chapter in the Falling Kingdoms book, I think. How long is it? Oh boy, there's a prologue again. Why all prologues? Let's see, how long is the prologue in chapter 1? Okay, the prologue in chapter 1 are 23 pages. I'm going to read at least the prologue. I might read chapter 1. I feel like sometimes prologues don't give you a good enough sense of the book, so I think I will just go ahead and read both the prologue and the chapter. The font is our old friend YA size, so it's not gonna take me very long. Oh boy. So the sun is setting. That's a thing. Hopefully I'll have enough light to kind of like finish the video. I'm like right in front of the window. It's working out so far. We'll see. The light might be about to get funky. So I did finish the prologue and the first chapter of Fallen Kingdoms. You can't really see the title because it's shiny. Wow. Yeah. I can see why people really like this series. This is all the good things that YA fantasy has the potential to be, at least so far in the prologue in the first chapter. Apparently it gets like pretty big and epic, and I haven't even met all of the main characters yet, but in the prologue there was magic and baby stealing and betrayal and stabbing. That was a ride. And then we jumped forward in the future and are following one of the main characters, and she's a princess, and hanging out with some rich friends who don't have lots of morals, and just their like group kind of makes me think of like Gossip Girl but Fantasy Kingdom kind of thing. Like, not that I think it's gonna go in that direction, but I think that's where she's coming out of, and I think that's gonna be really interesting to watch her, because she seems like one of the quieter, like not really into it but kind of stuck with these people. And there was more stabbing, so oh boy. And so that's really interesting, and I kind of unthinkingly turned the next page and almost started reading chapter 2, which is another good sign. Strong contender. I still have one more book to read, and so I'm going to do that, and then I will make a choice about which book I'm going to continue with. Okay, so the light is almost gone, but that's okay. I read the first chapter of I read the first chapter and prologue of Legendary, and while it's really interesting and I am looking forward to reading it, I don't think I want to continue it immediately. So it picks up basically almost exactly like literally the day after Caraval ends. So there's no time jump or anything, and the story is told from Donatella's perspective. So Caraval was told from the perspective of Scarlet, who's actually trying to rescue her sister Donatella, and now we get the sister's perspective going forward in time. And yeah, it should be an interesting story. I was definitely felt absorbed, and I am looking forward to reading it. I think see this was like helpful, because now I'm excited about all of these books instead of like, am I gonna like any of these? I just like have not had great luck with books, especially YA books, in the last little bit, so I don't know, I was feeling sort of meh, but I'm excited about all of these. I think I am going to come back to Beneath the Sugar Sky, and just like, because I can just read it, and then after that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna read this next, and then I might go back to Falling Kingdoms. We'll see. If you want to know what I think about ultimately Beneath the Sugar Sky and all of these books, I do week's end wrap-ups now, and so look for those kind of towards the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Probably I'll finish this and it'll be in my most soonest week's end wrap-up. But if you want to see what else I've read over the next week, that will be there. I will give you all of my thoughts for what I actually end up reading and what I think about all of these books. I think I'm going to enjoy all of these books, so that's a good thing. I'm excited about that. And now the light is gone, so my social medias are all in the description below. Follow me. I would love to kind of have a way to talk more with you guys. If you have read any of these books, or you think that I should definitely pick up something next, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about these books that I am trying. And that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.